Welcome to the ZFest export tutorial for Adobe Premiere on a Windows computer. This will be a quick tutorial without any troubleshooting or in-depth explanations. This tutorial is simply to help you create the necessary codec we will need for a high-quality presentation at the ZFest Film Festival. You'll also hear me shamelessly plug Z Systems. So, by now, you should know what your frame rate is, what resolution you'll be turning in, and have your edit completed with your audio and music. Let's check your resolution and frame rate by going into the sequence settings. Right here. And your frame rate should be either 23,976 or 24. In my case, it's 23,976 because that's what we shot our movie in with the Sony F55 from Z Systems Rental. There's my first plug. And now check your resolution. I'm exporting my film in 4K scope, so I'm checking to make sure my frame size is correct, and it is. I'll hit OK, and we'll export this film. Okay, and make sure that you have your timeline selected. Then go up here to File and Export. Then, Export, and then to Media. This will open Media Encoder. Don't select Match Settings, or Match Sequence Settings right here. Instead, we're going to choose the exact wrapper and codec to render our movie in. For our wrapper, we're going to choose QuickTime. And for our codec preset, we're going to choose Cineform RGB 12-bit at maximum bit depth. So pick that. Next, we need to decide what we're going to name our exported file and where we're going to save it. So you need to name the file after your team name and then type in the word film after your team number. To find the file easily later, I'm going to save it to the desktop right here. Alright, that looks good, and we'll click save. And back in the media encoder, choose the video tab and check your video codec. There's the video tab, and the codec is GoPro Cineform. Alright, there are quite a few QuickTime codecs to choose from, but the one you definitely want to use for this export is GoPro Cineform. Now we'll click the Match Source setting here, or Match Source button here, which will match the settings in your Premiere sequence. And we'll slide the quality up to 5. And now let's double check our export resolution and frame rate. If this doesn't match your intended export settings, you'll need to go back to your sequence and recheck your settings. Please don't change the settings here, as it may produce undesirable results, including stuttery playback, a cropped image, or letterboxing. So yeah, don't change your width and height here. Leave all these boxes checked. And only make your changes in Premiere. And make sure this box is also checked so your video renders out maximum depth, bit depth. And make sure RGBA 12-bit is checked. These settings right here, don't worry about them. We don't need any of those. Just leave them unchecked. And now we get to choose whether we want to export or queue. And I like to use queue because I can go in here and I can check all of our settings one final time before starting our render. So I can check my resolution, my frame rate, quality, codec, length of our film, and our audio. And one final step before we start our render, for a faster render, let's use GPU acceleration. If your render crashes or hangs, change this back to software rendering. Now we're ready to start our export. Click the little green Start Queue arrow, Depending on the speed of your computer and the elements in your sequence, this could take some time to start. So walk away and get a drink. I'm going to get some coffee. Never mind, my render started. All right, here we can see all of our settings again, as well as watch our render progress. Okay, I'm going to step away. Check my settings here quick. And I'm going to step away and let this finish. Okay. Everything looks good. Cool. And here it is. We get to watch the clip go by, and I'm going to step away and let this finish. And I'm back. My render completed without any errors. If your render has errors, then it's time to visit the Adobe forums or contact Z Systems and hire us to help you out. Yes, there's my second plug. Now I'm going to check on my video. I'll go to the location where I saved it, if I can find it. And I think I'm going to change the view here so I have a thumbnail of my film. Let's right click and choose property to look at the details for this film. Yeah, we're doing a shitload of double checking here, but it's always better to do it now than to find out that your movie isn't qualified to be entered for prizes in Z-Fest. All right. Everything looks good, just like it did earlier. And now you have one final task. Find a thumb drive that can hold your amazing film, transfer your film to it, and turn it into Z Systems on time. So, thank you for watching, and I wish you all the best of luck at this year's Z-Fest Film Festival.